Forgot to put myself on the screen there. That's off to a roaring start there. Cheers. Welcome to Fairway to Heaven as I just rock it and forget to put my own face on the screen here. Not that you guys want to see it. This is Fairway to Heaven, the Players Championship Edition. TPC Sawgrass. One of the most entertaining tournaments of the year. One of the tournaments every year that Carnage will ensue almost always. We're here on the DSM Media Network, live. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, you name it, we're there. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow, share on all social media platforms. But do me that favor if you want to get interactive with your questions, comments, thoughts, anything about this week or golf in general, head over to the DSM Media YouTube page, hit that subscribe button, turn notifications on, drop your comments right there as I've got some of these examples set up on the screen. If you're watching over on the Fairway to Heaven, DSM Media, or my personal Twitter pages, I can't see your comments or questions. I don't even know you're watching. Actually, there's like 3 people watching over on the Fairway to Heaven Twitter page right now. Still retweet it out and follow us there where you get all my bets and all my lineups and stuff like that. But you know the deal. If you want to get interactive, Facebook or YouTube is the place to do it. I am Phil Stifle, your host, and we got lots to talk about this week. Took a little break last week. My puppy Penelope had to have surgery, so we took off the API, but we're back at it. And the API was another one of these elevated events that just completely destroyed me. After round 2, I had the second and both people tied for third on my betting card and all over my fantasy card. And the weekend just it didn't go well. Spieth, I had who else did I have last week? I don't even remember. Spieth, Xander, and whoever else it was, Corey Connors. And they broke my heart. Broke my heart massively. Spieth tried to make a little bit of after the third round disaster, tried to make a comeback on Sunday. He was right there. I really thought he had it there. I thought people telling me I was an idiot for betting Jordan Spieth last week. I thought I was going to be able to rub that in their face. That did not happen, unfortunately, is what it is. We live, we learn, we move on. We're moving on to the Players Championship. Another one of the events where I hit the outright last year in Cam Smith. Last year, we're going to go through the entire card, but last year's Players Championship, when you're looking at tournament history and players' history at TPC Sawgrass, you kind of have to almost to an extent ignore last year. You almost have to look at it overall and realize that there's so many guys that have top 10s and then multiple missed cuts. This is just one of those courses that the weather, the tee time splits, there's so much water in play on this course, not just on the famous Island 17th green. There's so much carnage that can and does happen on a regular basis that you almost have to take a few missed cuts with a grain of salt if there is some good tournament history there. Jordan or Cam Smith, the defending champion, will not be there. I know he was interviewed for some live channel, I'm guessing, saying that, he might try to sneak into the crowd and maybe a little heckling happening there. Yeah, it's a shame. It is what it is with the live tour. A lot of new changes dropping in the last week or two on the PGA Tour. I don't want to give live credit. I don't want to give them any airtime, but changes are happening. And before we get into this week's Players Championship specifically, I did want to talk for a second or two. And, if anybody agrees or disagrees with me, they can let me know. But all these elevated events are great. It makes every single week mean a little bit more. A lot less Barracuda Opens and a lot more deep fields. But it kind of this normally the Players Championship here in March. This is just another week on tour now. We've got all the top players: Rahm, Rory, Spieth. Every big name player is playing. But it just kind of feels like business as usual now. It's kind of taken away the luster of the event that we just saw. What's this, the 4th week in a row or 4th of the last 5 weeks that we've had one of these elevated events? I'm more excited today that they announced season 2 of Full Swing. That's more exciting to me at this point because it's just another week. They're going to be eliminating cuts and stuff like that. That's going to be another thing that just kind of, changes the tour a little bit, changes the way we bet and do fantasy golf and stuff like that as well. a lot of changes happening to the PGA Tour. And it's good. It's good for the players, obviously. But for a fan perspective, it's maybe just a little bit. The changes in the elevated events will never change the effect on the majors. But the fact that the players has always been called the fifth major maybe loses a little bit of its luster now, because it's not like this is just another event with all the major guys at it. I mean, how many times this year have we now seen, and we've talked about on this show? I mean, we've got at the top of the card, we got 4 guys over 10K. John Rahm at 11,800 on DraftKings. Rory McIlroy 11K. Scottie Scheffler, Xander Schauffele. You throw Max Homa into the big group at 9,900 as well. This is not the first time we've had all 4 or 5 of those names. What's happening, my man? What's happening? This is not the first time that we've had all these names at the top of the board in the same event. And this is what you get by them having these elevated events. Just business as usual. Every single week's a big week on the PGA Tour. It's great. It's entertaining. Seeing these leaderboards the way they are. I was just waiting for this comment to pop up. Is he going to be top 10 again this week? I don't even know. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see. He is on my player card this week. I will not lie. He's 6,600 on DraftKings. That means he is way down the betting board. There he is. He is 180 to 1 to win the event. He is 12 to 1 to finish in the top 10, Kyle. I don't know if you think it's going to happen again this week, but 2 weeks ago, yes, you nailed it. Kyle Potter, he said, Sue, top 10. He almost won the damn thing. Fell off a little bit on Sunday. I believe it was Saturday or Sunday. He had a rough round, but he still managed to hold into that top 10 spot. Kudos to you. I'm not the expert. You are. I am not an expert the last 2 or 3 weeks in golf. Top 20 this week. Give me a second. It can't be that hard for me to find. I want to see what his odds are for top 20. Top 20, Sue. We are Davis Riley. There he is. 5 to 1 for Justin Sue, top 20. Is he like your cousin or something like that? You got this fascination with Sue. You do. And that's okay. If you're betting, which I know you're not down there, you can't bet, good. I'm going to throw a top 20. I actually have $5 left in my money to spend this week on bets and lineups. I'm going to throw $5 on Sue at 20, a top 20. Get my 5 to 1. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And if we hit, the next time we hang out, first beer is on me. I mean, that $25 ain't going to go very far that I win if it hits, but, it is what it is. But anyway, again, another week, like I said at the opening of the show, elevated event, so many massive names in this field, which always at the Players' Championship. And again, you always got to think of when you're thinking about the Players' Championship, and when we get down to the 6K range, Kyle, I'm going to look at Sue's stats a little bit more to see how he fits into a course like this. But TPC Sawgrass, you've got a couple things you've got to wonder and worry and think about the players you're picking. Water all over the place. So it's a tee to green ball striking must. You got to hit fairways and you got to hit greens. You just have to. You can't be playing out of the rough. You have to have your approach game and your off the tee game in tip-top shape to perform well here. You got to check the weather. Now, this year compared last year, the weather was insanity. I think they were finishing the third round, it felt like, on Tuesday afternoon. It just took forever to get the first 2 rounds in. I know I was watching the final round. I think it was Monday afternoon at my favorite bar down the street. Weather seems like it won't be as big of a deal this year. There's 20-30% chance of rain late on Friday. Winds are all projected to stay under 10-15 miles an hour most days. It's going to be in the low 70s most days. Weather will not play a factor, but it is Florida weather. That could change in a heartbeat. It could flip-flop really fast in Florida. So this year we won't be worried about the morning wave versus the afternoon waves on Thursday and Friday as we were last year. Pretty much if you hit the wrong wave last year, you missed the cut by 20 strokes. It's always carnage here, but it was just massive carnage last year. So you need guys that are striking the ball well, There's a lot of short par threes and gettable par fives. So you want golfers that are going to capitalize. You really got to make birdie on your par fives here. You got to be able to, hit greens on your par threes. You can't walk away with a bogey on any of the par threes here. That's what you're looking for. To me, I've built my model. I'm going to share the screen in a minute here with my model, and we're going to go through it. I've got 6 outright bets, and obviously a Justin Sue top 20 that I got to place after the show. And we're going to go through the model, but you're going to see when you see my model that I put the shots gained ball striking category as a really, really important stat for me. I'm zoning in on ball striking as my most important thing. JT is really close. We're going to get close. We're going to get into JT. Obviously, he's won here before, and he's a guy that should be elite. Just at his price, at his betting odds, when we get to him, I'll tell you, I just couldn't get to the Justin Thomas. I just couldn't this week. In fact, we'll just skip right down to Justin Thomas. Just since you brought his name up, he's 94. He's in that second tier, that 9K range. He's 28th in my model. He's 11th in this field last 36 rounds, tee to green. But that ball striking category, which is so important to me, it's a combination of approach. It's a combination of off the tee, a bunch of factors. Right now, he's 35th. And I'm with you. I thought he was really getting close. Either Genesis or Arnold Palmer, I had a lot of action on him. I had action on Waste Management, that 4th at the Waste Management Phoenix Open. I was really high on Justin Thomas this year. But outside of that Waste Management, I mean, it's not like he's missing cuts. But just this calendar year, 25th at the Tournament of Champions. There's only 39 guys in that field. 25th at the Farmers, 4th at the Waste Management, 20th at Riviera over to Genesis, and 21st last week at the Arnold Palmer. They're all good numbers for Justin Thomas. But is that what you expect out of Justin Thomas? Do you expect 20th for Justin Thomas? I don't. I don't want to invest $9,400 in Justin Thomas. Justin Thomas is projected right now at 17% ownership. He's top of the board in ownership. A guy that's 9,400. Where I got another screen here with it. I have to get out of the top 20s here. See, it threw me off. I had my outrights here, and now I don't. So 17%. He'll probably finish somewhere closer to 20%. He's 20-1 to win it. He's got the 5th best odds to win it. I don't think. Oh, see now, this is big time information. I was working all day today, so I wasn't watching practice rounds. He looked loose on a practice round. A lot different than a practice round than on the course. It is. But if you're saying he looked good on the practice round, that's important. I like it. Look, Justin Thomas is a guy that you have to think Justin Thomas is playing his B-plus game. It's still better than most people. Justin Thomas, if he looks good, he's the kind of guy that this week I'll look for my round 3 showdown, my round 4 showdown lineups. This week I'll see if he falls a little behind early on Thursday, that he can, and his number drops to maybe 30-1, 40-1, that we live bet him, because he's a guy that if he falls 4 or 5 strokes behind, as long as he makes the cut, he can always make a charge on Saturday and climb up that leaderboard. He knows this course. Little thing here, Kyle. So I got some stats here. 10 of the last 11 winners. Okay, check these categories. He has at least one. You have to have at least one top 20 this year. He's got one this year. He's previous top 20 at this course in this tournament. Justin Thomas is one here. Top 25 or better in your last start. Just barely squeaks in there with the 21st at the API. Played this tournament 4 times or more. He's done that. Top 10 official golf rankings at some point in their career. He's done that. So Justin Thomas checks all the trends. But I just don't think that he's in win mode. Now, fantasy golf-wise, he's a smart play if his ownership percentage, 17% for Justin Thomas this week. Again, if you like Justin Thomas, if you watch this show, you know I say ownership percentage is one of the most overrated statistics and categories in fantasy golf. That too many people take themselves off of somebody they like, and just because too many people are clicking their names. I don't agree with that. So that's fine. I just think that JT is not smooth enough right now and in top. He fits into the same category as another guy that's above him, Xander Schauffele. Great golfer, Xander Schauffele. Obviously a great golfer. And Xander Schauffele is only projected at sub 10% right now. It's insane. But Xander Schauffele, 39th at API, 33rd at Genesis, 10th at Waste Management, 13th at Farmers. He hasn't had a top 5 since the American Express back in January. And that was his first event of the year. Xander Schauffele and Justin Thomas are in that. I can't even read my notes. There's somebody else in there. Who else am I fading there? I think that says Colin. Yeah, Colin Morikawa. I think that Xander and JT are full-on fades this week until we get halfway through the week. Now, how they perform those first 2 rounds, where they're sitting, what their numbers change to, I can get behind that. See, this is my exact same feelings, Kyle. Hasn't looked comfortable. That this is what I'm feeling about JT as well. Xander's a guy that I want to root for. I want to bet every week. But I just can't get behind them 2 guys. Not this week. Not at a course that one mistake can domino and snowball into complete disaster. So I'm at this point for my week-long fantasy lineups and my initial outright bets, I'm fading Xander and Justin Thomas. I think the tougher question comes, what do you do with Jon Rahm, Rory McIlroy, and Scottie Scheffler? Jon Rahm, if you follow me on Fairway to Heaven's Twitter page, Jon Rahm's collapse last week was 110% my fault. I put the mush on him. I did. Jon Rahm last week was lights out on Thursday, and I said to everybody, if you're not playing Jon Rahm, what's wrong with you? Just look at this. Dating back to October of last year at the CJ Cup. 4th, 1st, 7th, 3rd, 1st. That's just on the PGA Tour. That doesn't count any other of the tours that he plays on. 4th, 1st, 7th, 3rd, 1st. That is an insane run right there. And he follows it up with a 39th last week at the API. Let me tell you something. You're going to get a discount if you play Jon Rahm this week. Ownership's going to be down on Jon Rahm this week. A lot of the ownership's going to go Rory or Scottie. Let me tell you something. So I'm doing things differently this week. Instead of my typical 20 fantasy lineups, I'm doing 40 lineups this week. I'm max entering the dollar, as I always do. Max entering the quarter jukebox as well. So that's 40 lineups. Gives me the ability to play. I suggest trying to find different lineups this week so you can stretch your player pool out. I got 30, how many names? I think it's 36 or 37 names on my list this week that I'm playing in some way or form. By playing so many lineups, I only stretch my budget a few extra bucks by doing that. But now I'm able to play Jon Rahm, Rory McIlroy, and Scottie Scheffler. Combos of them, solo lineups with them right off the top. So much different flexibility there. Now, I will say, if I'm looking at my numbers here, Scottie Scheffler is the guy out of those top 3 that I'm playing the most. Scottie Scheffler is, you can't go wrong. If you only want to play one of those 3 names, great. If you want to play 2, all 3, you want to throw Xander in there, whatever you want to do, you cannot go wrong with these top guys. 4th last week at the Arnold Palmer. Honestly, he lost a stroke putting. If he even breaks even putting, he lost 1 stroke putting last week, in the shots gained category. If it's a 0, if he gains a stroke putting last week, he probably wins the event. He just missed a few putts there down the stretch last week. Scottie Scheffler, the book, we know who he is. We know what he does. He did finish here 55th last year, and he missed the cut. So he doesn't have great success here. But again, he's a much different golfer now than he was 2 years ago. Obviously, he's defended his championship at Waste Management. There's a damn good chance he defends his championship successfully at the Masters this year. He's playing great golf. He hasn't had outside of a top 12 since the CJ Cup way back in October. And he hasn't missed a cut since August, the FedEx St. Jude. Scottie Scheffler, out of those top guys, he's my top play. He's going to be owned. People are going to build their lineups around him. I get it. But again, like I said, so I have out of those top 3 guys, 40 lineups, Jon Rahm in 6 of them. I have Rory and Scheffler in the same amount. I can't even read my own notes here. 12 lineups with Rory McIlroy, 12 lineups with Scottie Scheffler. That's where I'm at the top with those guys. Now, you got Xander at 10. We touched on him. Max Homa, I'm playing Max Homa this week. I got him in a bunch of lineups. Max Homa is going to win a major, or if you want to consider this the 5th major, Max Homa is going to win something big. I've already got a Masters and a U.S. Open future bet on Max Homa for this year. He's going to win. Finished 13th here last year. He's going to win a big event. Is it this week? I don't know. I didn't bet him because I went one down further to Patrick Cantlay at 9,700. 4th last week at the API, 3rd at Riv. So he's in great form right now. He has missed 3 straight cuts here at the Players' Championship. I know. It's carnage. But he also has 2 top 25s the previous 2 years. So he has had times in his career where he's found success here. Patrick Cantlay never really gets put into the elite conversation like some of the other guys do. And he's just as good as Jon Rahm, just as good as Scottie Scheffler and Rory McIlroy. He really is. And he just doesn't get to put in that same conversation, and he should be. I saw something the last couple of weeks out of Patrick Cantlay. Patrick Cantlay, I got him at 18-1, and I used DraftKings was offering a boost of 200 plus 250, so I actually got an outright. He's fallen to 16, but I got an outright at 20.5-1 on Patrick Cantlay with my boost. 20.5-1. I've also put him in the most lineups. 15 out of 40 of my lineups have Patrick Cantlay. Projected around 15% ownership. That could either go up a little bit. That might go down a little bit. I don't know. I'm not sure where Patrick Cantlay is going to fall on the board. Oh my God! You're spot on here. American golf is so good currently. It's not so good. It's great right now. The fact that you have so many every single week, Jon Rahm, Rory McIlroy, and Scottie Scheffler keep flip flopping the 1, 2, 3 in the official world golf rankings. Golf is amazing right now. The PGA Tour is great right now. It really is. And all these elevated events is just making them compete against each other more and more. And that's why you've seen a tournament like the Players' Championship, you've seen people 50-1, 70-1, 90-1 win this event. Siwoo Kim won this years ago. But that's because when you get to the Players, a lot of these guys have only played a handful of times. Waste Management, maybe at Bay Hill. They haven't played much. Well, now they're playing so frequently. They are in tip-top form. Patrick Cantlay, he is my all-in play of the week. I am all in Patrick Cantlay. I know I was just listening to Pat Mayo on Brian Kirshner's show before we went on here. And they're betting Cantlay in a parlay to miss the cut. I'm like, no, not happening. No way. Absolutely, they lost to the Live. Some guys. But outside of Cam Smith, the defending champion of this event, I don't think any of the guys that left for Live really break my heart or anybody watching golf that's a real fan. I forgot to put this up here. I meant to put my model and my numbers up here. But yeah, Patrick Cantlay, he's 3rd in my model this week. 2nd in opportunities gained, 5th in ball striking, 5th off the tee, 10th in bogey avoidance. That's something that's important. Grinding. Course like this, being able to grind out par is so important. He's 10th in the field in that. I like to go last 36 rounds. Some people do 24, some do 50. 3rd tee to green, 22nd approach. He's not the greatest putter all the time, but you know what? I love shots gained total over the last 36 rounds. He's 7th. And anybody knows, I think that's an underrated stat. Basically just proves who's in the best form overall shots gained total. So I'm a Patrick Cantlay guy this week. I really think he is. Colin is a full fade for me. He's another one that's Xander and JT. He's just too inconsistent lately. Next down the list in this 9K range, Tony Finau. Great episode, A Full Swing with Tony Finau. You really get to see his family and his life. I love Tony Finau this week as well. I got 2 pages here, so I got to go from note to note. I did bet Tony Finau 28-1. I bet 1.5 units on it. And I also have him in 12 lineups, just like Scheffler. And so I have 36, 46, 57 lineups, or 57 clicks between all my lineups with Rahm, Rory, Scheffler, Cantlay, and Finau. That's basically 30% of the players used for me on DraftKings this week are those 5 guys. That's insane. That's a lot of usage on 5 guys right there. And that doesn't count the 9 clicks on Max Homa. So almost 70 clicks between the top of this board here. But by doing that, I had to fade Scheffler. I had to fade Colin. I had to fade JT. But Tony Finau, again, just like Max Homa, is going to win a major. If you consider this still a major, this can count. Let me click on his name here real quick. Bring up what he did the last few times he's played here, which I don't even think you can count what he did here before. Yeah, he missed the cut the last 2 years. Last year could have just been the draw. He had a 22nd in 19, 57th year before that. So he's made some cuts. He's missed some cuts here. He's not been in perfect form in these elevated events, but a 9th at the Farmers, 14th at Waste Management, 7th Tournament Champions, 16th at the Amex earlier in January. You know, he's playing good golf, and he wants to win one against these elevated fields. He wants to be top 5 in one of these elevated fields. And I think this is the week. I'm fading Sung J M. Moving on to the 8K range. Let's page down here a little bit because I think there's some awesome names in this 8K range here to bet, to play. Victor Hovland, 8,900. I've got a lot of Victor Hovland on my Draftkings card. I did not bet Victor Hovland, but I'm playing him. Another guy, major contender, year in and year out of these big events. Great off the tee, great ball striker. The only thing you have to worry about is just short game. There's a bet right there. There's a beer bet right there, Kyle. Next time you go out, you text me where you're at, and I'll send the bartender some money through Venmo, or I'll Venmo you money. Or if JT doesn't finish in the top 10, you can Venmo me $5 for a beer because JT is not finishing in the top 10 this week. Yeah, I listened to Pat Mayo, like I said before the show, and he's betting Cantlay to miss the cut. Well, in a parlay, to a huge parlay. It was like a $15 parlay to win like $5,000. He was parlaying Cantlay, and I forget who else. I think JT is going to finish way further down the card. JT is going to finish in that 20 to 40 range, maybe miss the cut. That's mine. Lock it in right now. Lock that bet in. I like Victor Hovland. You don't have to worry about his short game. But of course, like this, around the green matters a little bit, but not as much. You just got to get on the green, and you just got to get in the fairway. Will Zalatoris, another great player. He's got a few lineup clicks for me. I thought I bet him. I did not bet him. Guy that could do well. I'll probably throw a last-second bet on Will Zalatoris. Let me see what his number is right now. He's at 35 to 1. He's fallen. Wow. Whew. I just might have changed my mind and said I got to throw a little bet on Will Zalatoris. You know, Will Zalatoris, he's a winner. He's going to win a lot. Yeah, 35 to 1. Wow. Third in the field ball striking, third off the tee, 5th tee to green, 8 shots gained total. Why don't I? How many lineups? I put him in 9 lineups. How come I don't have more usage on Will Zalatoris? How bad was he last year at this event? I know the waves mean something. He finished top. He's finished 26th last year and 21st year before that. And that's losing strokes around. See, that's the thing. He's got 2 top 26s, and he lost strokes around the green and putting. So that just goes to show how much of a ball striker, course this is. I know he had a bad week last week on Palmer, 4th at the Genesis. I think it's just because that miscut the Farmers when I was all in on Will Zalatoris. He's kind of burned me, so I kind of just use him a little bit less. That's the problem. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he is or not. I mean, he's had some really good finishes and some bad finishes. The problem with betting on golf and fantasy golf is when a player burns you, you get scared to go back. Talking about injuries, guy at 8,700, Jordan Spieth. Something looked wrong. You talk about injuries. Something's wrong with Jordan Spieth. You saw it on the back 9. First and foremost, his putter just completely fell apart. You see this, Jordan Spieth, over the last 36 rounds compared to the field, he's 115th ranked putting. 91st ranked in bogey avoidance. Something's off with his game. Now, it might be an injury. And I would not be surprised if Jordan Spieth is injured. So I think I've got a full fade on Jordan Spieth this week. I was all in on him last week, and then I saw that final round on Sunday, and how he fell apart in the back 9. He looked like he was leaning over, grabbing it. He was just not right. So Jordan Spieth's a full fade for me this week. He will not see any dollar invested from me whatsoever. Matthew Fitzpatrick, got to eliminate somebody. Matthew Fitzpatrick, again, another guy's battling with the neck injury. Cam Young's going to win an event. I got Cam Young in some lineups, and I bet Cam Young 35 to 1 on a full unit. Cam Young's a great golfer. He can absolutely win this event. So when I click people's names, I'm going to another screen. I can't share multiple screens. But he has 6 off the tee, 6 opportunities gained, 4th ball striker in the field,
7th tee to green. Guy's good. It's just his putting's bad. But again, putting, you can win here. If you putt average, if you even lose just slightly below average, you can win this event. He's got 10th last week at the API. He missed the cut here last year, but again, could have been the bad weather draw. So I'm ignoring that. So Cam Young, he's going to be a good play. Hideki, bye Hideki. You are no longer my favorite golfer to play when everybody else is. Yeah, something was way off on Spieth last week. Way, way off. I don't know what it is, but there was something way off there. So Hideki's, I've lost on Hideki. Tyrell Hatton, he's in 9 lineups for me. He was originally going to be my last bet I made before I made this Justin Sue and maybe Will Zalatoris. I still might throw $2 on Tyrell Hatton. 35-1 also, just with Zalatoris. Hatton is a guy that at the Players' Championship, he's got a 13th and a 41st and 3 missed cuts. He is such a volatile golfer. I can't believe I put him in 9 lineups. I mean, 9 out of 40 is not a lot, but he is such a volatile golfer, and he played great last week. Just couldn't seal the deal at the end. He's such a volatile golfer. He's either going to finish in the top 10 or he's going to miss the cut. But I'm willing to take a shot at Tyrell Hatton because his form last week. Why don't I bring him up a second time here? Let's see. 4th, 40th, 6th, 13th. He's in great form right now. So since October at the CJ Cup, 13th, 6th, 40th, 4th. That's just on PJ. He plays overseas too. He's in excellent form right now. Shane Lowry, he's a fade. Tom Kim. Tom Kim's an excellent idea type player for me. Tom Kim was the hot topic on tour for so long this year, to start this year. And he's 12th in my model, 2nd on approach, great ball striker, but he's young and inexperienced. But everybody's been jumping all over the Tom Kim train. And then since his 6th at the American Express, well, you can even go back further. Missed the cut to Sony, then the 6th at the Amex, then 50th at Waste Management, 45th at Genesis, 34th at Arnold Palmer. He finished 34th last week, losing strokes around the green, losing strokes putting. Excellent tee to green player, basically. He gained 3.5 strokes last week, tee to green. And that's what he does. If you go down his card, dating back into last year, all his high finishes, he's gaining tee to green. But he's losing a half a stroke, 1 stroke. Damn, the miscut to Sony, he lost almost 7 strokes putting. He's just not a good putter. But if you can win or contend at this event, not as a putter, Tom Kim's that guy. He's not team no putt per se, but he's damn good everywhere else in his game. So I got a little bit of Tom Kim action. I did bet him 40-1. He's in a bunch of my lineups. I got him in 8 lineups. As we go down the card, you get less and less clicks on these guys as you try to spread out your exposure. Jason Day. People are madly in love with Jason Day, and I think I've fallen into the trap. I don't know why I like Jason Day. Jason Day is projected to be the highest owned golfer this week on DraftKings at 8,000. He's going to be over 20% owned. His number has fallen all the way to 28-1 to win this event. He's won this event in the past. We know that. He's rounded in the prime form. 10th his last 5 events, 18th, 7th, 5th, 9th, 10th. Playing great. At the Players, he missed a cut last year, but he's got 35th, 8th, 5th, 60th, 1st, miscut, 19th, miscut, 6th, miscut, 4th. So many people. And this is, Jason Day is, going back to Tom Kim, he's going to get a big one this year, probably. But I like the fact that you're getting him at a discount this week, ownership-wise, price-wise, everything. I'm almost talking myself out of Jason Day. Jason Day's playing great, and he's a great fantasy play this week if you're not worried about ownership. But the fact that I bet him 40-1, I almost want to go and withdraw that bet. Maybe they'll even give me my money back, considering he's already fallen to 28-1. Did I bet Day? I didn't even bet Jason Day. So I'm glad I didn't bet Jason Day. Everybody that's jumping on the Jason Day to win bandwagon. I took him off my screen here. Hold on a second. Do people realize that he hasn't won a golf tournament since 2018? The Wells Fargo. He hasn't finished second in an event since 2018 at the AT&T Pro-Am. He had 1 third place finish this year at the Farmers. Before that, 2016. Hasn't had a fourth place since the PGA Championship in 2020. The win equity in Jason Day is extremely, extremely low. People are jumping all over him to win this event. I know he's playing great, and that might make him a good fantasy play. But he's not. The odds of him winning are the fact that his odds have gone from, like, I think I heard somebody say they got him at 50 or 60 to 1, and he's down to 28 to 1. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. All right, we'll go down into the 7K range here as we continue to chirp through this card. We'll go a little faster on some of these names. Tommy Fleetwood. I like Tommy Fleetwood this week. He's probably one of the higher click guys in the 7K range for me. I got him in 9 lineups out of 40. This is a Pete Dye course. You're going to hear a lot of people talk on a lot of shows about Pete Dye golfers. Tommy Fleetwood's the guy. No bet, just a guy, just a play. McNeely, banged up, hurt, no. Sam Burns, banged up, hurt, playing awful, no. I love Adam Scott and Justin Rose this week. I love Adam Scott a lot more than Justin Rose. Adam Scott, let's see what Adam Scott's form is. 31st last week. He hasn't missed a cut in eons since the PGA Championship last year. His players' history, missing the cut last year, but before that, he had gone from 2012 to 2021 without missing a cut. That was 10 years without missing a cut at the players. And he's got multiple top 10s and 15s in there. For a course that's as volatile as the TPC Sawgrass, this guy has won here all the way back in 2004. He's been playing here since 2003. And he has got he's only got 3 missed cuts in 19 years of playing here. That's insane. And he's in good form right now. So Adam Scott's a really good play this week for your fantasy lineups. Like I said, Justin Rose, you can never go wrong in this kind of an event. Siwoo Kim, former champion, I'm off of him. Some people like him. I don't. Horschel. Sahith Theegala. Theegala, we like him from Full Swing, but I don't like him this week. Ricky Fowler and Keegan Bradley. Surrounding Tiger. Tiger withdrew. I didn't even hear that news breaking until earlier tonight when I just refreshed the screen. Fowler and Keegs both have great opportunities. They've won here. Well, Fowler's won here. Keegan's played well here. Both are great players. They're both in my fantasy lineups. When you see these guys start on here, it doesn't mean that I'm playing them for sure. It just means guys, when I first start my research, I'm interested in. But Keegan and Fowler are both on my card this week for fantasy. I did not bet them. You know, you don't have to bet Ricky Fowler every week. Everybody seems to bet him every week. I don't. Keith Mitchell, I love Keith Mitchell this week. I bet him at 55 to 1. Keith Mitchell is a great golfer. Great off the tee. He just drives the ball so well. Tee to green. He's the number 1 in this field last 36 rounds. Off the tee. Great ball striker. Great ball striker. Leaves something to be desired with the putter. But we've talked about it before. You don't need to putt. Great to win here. 24th at the Arnold Palmer last week. He lost a quarter of a stroke putting. Lost almost 3 strokes around the green. He still finished in the top 24 because his off-the-tee game is so good. 13th at the Players last year. Missed the cut in 2021. Made the cut, but barely contended the 2 years prior than that. Keith Mitchell, great play. Great form. Absolutely love Keith Mitchell this week. Brian Harmon, no. Corey Connors, good play this week. Same as Power. He's a guy that should be 55 to 1. It's a good bet. Really is. Same as Power. I know his numbers look atrocious across here. 113th in my model. This is why models sometimes are a little skewed. But look at that. Over the last 36 rounds, overall shots gained total, he's 19th to the field. And why is that? Because he hasn't missed a cut in a long time. He finished 72nd last week. He barely made the cut. He must have had an awful weekend to miss the cut. He lost 10 strokes. This is right here why models are skewed a little bit. He must have had a god-awful weekend because he lost 10 strokes total last weekend. And he's still 17th in the field. 14th at the Genesis, 20th at the Waste Management, 15th at AT&T, 5th at the RSM, 3rd at the Worldwide, 1st at the Butterfield back in October. The guy hasn't missed a cut since the Shriners, 10-9-2022. So you got to look at sometimes numbers and look past the numbers. He's played here twice in 19 and 2022, made the cut both times. So it wasn't just the good draw last year. He had a top 40 in 2019 as well. So same as Power is a really good play this week. I'm not saying I have a lot of them. Where is he on my list here? He's in 6 lineups for me this week. But I like him. Love Tom Hoagie this week. Did I bet Tom Hoagie? Did I pull the trigger? I did not pull the trigger on a Tom Hoagie bet this week. But I did pull the trigger on putting Tom Hoagie in 9 lineups. So Tom Hoagie's a really good play this week. Again, another great approach and ball striker. Guy that's just going to hit a lot of greens. He is. He's not going to get rattled by the weather. Missed a cut last week, but 14th at the Genesis. Look at another one where, he wasn't on par. But he's played here 4 times. Never missed a cut. 3 top 35s. So he's a guy that's got good course history. The weather isn't going to be a factor. I like Tom Hoagie this week. Page and down. Let's find somebody else I like on here. Wyndham Clark. I was waiting for his name to pop up. I actually like a lot of guys that's 7,100 price. Wyndham Clark, Ben Griffin, Thomas Dietrich. But let me click on Wyndham Clark here for a second. Wyndham Clark's in my new age golfers, guys I like that are going to win an event. I don't know if he'll win. I don't know if he'll win this week. I bet half a unit at 150 to 1 on Wyndham Clark this week. And let's find out why. Wyndham Clark, 34th last week at an elevated event, 33rd the week before at the Genesis, or a few weeks before that, the Genesis, 10th at the Waste Management. He's contending to an extent in these elevated fields. He is. How's he going to win? He's never won in his life. Doesn't mean he's not going to at some point. He's a great tee to green. He only has lost strokes tee to green once in the last 8 times he's teed it up. Only lost strokes on approach once in the last 8 times he's teed it up. He hasn't lost strokes total since his last missed cut, which was way back at the Shriners in October. So Wyndham Clark is a great fantasy play this week. Great fantasy play. I'm going to see where his number is at right now. He's at 7% ownership projection. Man, Wyndham Clark, if you're building your lineups, you put him in them. Where do I got Wyndham Clark on my list here? He's in 7 of my lineups. And he probably would have been in more if I didn't talk myself into Thomas Dietrich. I love Ben Griffin every week. Ben Griffin's a great golfer for fantasy. He's not a guy you want to play in a lot of outright betting on. He missed a cut at Pebble Beach, but he's 14th at Arnold Palmer, 21st at Honda, 31st at Farmers, 12th at Sony, 3rd at Butterfield all the way back. I mean, he's only missed 1 cut he's only missed 2 cuts since the Wyndham. That was beginning of August of last year. Ben Griffin's a great golfer. I don't know if he played here last year. He has not played here before. But what does he do? He hits the ball well off the tee, hits the ball and approach well. Thomas Dietrich, he was one of those guys I thought was going to tear the cut. He was like Tom Kim, just a much lesser extent. But now all of a sudden he's not finishing in the top 20 anymore. He's finished top 30. He finished 24th last week, 33rd, 37th, 37th, 26th, 15th, 2nd, 9th, 12th, dating all the way back to the fortnight in September, 10th at the Genesis Scottish Open, all the way back in July. Thomas Dietrich ain't going to win you no tournament, but he's projected under 5% ownership. That's a great update. They were winning by like 19 when we went live, so that's always. I was trying to keep myself. Now you're distracting me here. 5 minutes left. I'm hoping they benched Embiid by this point. I was trying to not be distracted by my side screen here, which the game is on. But there you go. You just sidetracked me there a little bit. Who are we talking about? Thomas Dietrich. There you go. All right, down the list here further. I didn't play Harris English. I don't know why. I know he's bad on the model, but he's been playing good golf. He played well last week. 2nd on Palmer. Well, he missed a cut to Honda, but 12th at the Genesis. So he's had 2 out of the last 3 cuts or tournaments he's played well. Oh, that's why I didn't play Harris English, because he didn't just miss the cut. He didn't play the last 2 years at this event, but he hasn't played since 2019. But he missed the cut in 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19 at this event. He hasn't made the cut here since 2013, and that was the 33rd. That's why I didn't play Harris English this week. I'm a Harris English guy, just not this week. So that's a full fade there. Continuing down, we're getting into the 6K range. Johnny Vegas. There's a name for you. Johnny Vegas. He's in. Where is he now on my list here? 6 lineups for a guy in the 6K range. It's a lot of play. He was hurt last year. He's back. He's been playing decently. 21st to Honda. He hasn't played since the Honda. But since he's been back, he missed the cut at the American Express. But since then, 25th, 23rd, 56 21st. Doing it. Tee to green. Off the tee. Approach. Struggles with the putter. But then you get a week like last week where he gained 5 strokes putting. So occasionally he's good for a putter. Johnny Vegas in that 6K range is a great play. He's going to get owned. Probably 8-10% owned. But I'm okay with that. So Johnny Vegas, you play him. Ryan Fox, another guy. Look, his numbers look terrible right there, don't they? And that's fine. But the guy's been playing on Europe. He's been playing all over the place. He finished 14th here at the Arnold Palmer last week. But he's been playing on the European Tour and stuff like that. He's playing really good golf. So Ryan Fox, I think, is a really great sneaky play there because he's going to model out poorly for a lot of people. So we're going down to the 6K. These are fillers. Guys I'm clicking 2-3 times. Guys that I'm not playing a lot of lineups with. But guys that you can still click here and there. Trey Mullinax, Aaron Rye, guys I got 2-3 clicks on. But let's get to Mr. Justin Sue. That's who Kyle likes here. And again, I'm going to throw a top 20 bet on him just for him. He's projected at 7% ownership. And a guy at 6,600. Oh my God, you're not the only person that likes Justin Sue. All right, we're looking just at his PGA numbers here. 24th at the Arnold Palmer, 5th at the Honda, 40th at the Genesis, 20th at the Farmers. Holy shit, this guy hasn't missed a cut since the Shriners. He missed 3 straight cuts in September and October. And since then, it's going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 11 straight cuts made. 3 top 25s, a top 5, a couple more top 30s mixed in there. Man, why is he only 6,600? He's never played the Players' Championship. Man, has he ever won on tour? He won the Corn Ferry Tour Championship last year. That's why. Justin Sue. Man, deeper dive into Justin Sue, I might have just become a fan. Now, I will say, I just took him off my screen. There he is. All right, I will say one little bit of information. He's performing well here. Now, at the Honda top 5, he finished in 5th place. I mean, he gained 10 strokes total, 11 tee to green. He lost a stroke putting, and he still finished 5th. That's how good his tee to green play and overall play was that week. But some weeks he does get a little shaky off the tee. 3 of his last 6 events, lost strokes off the tee. 1 of his last 6 on approach. Tee to green, 2 of his last 6 events, he's lost strokes. So his tee game, his off the tee game, leaves a little bit to be desired. That's Justin Sue. But the guy's hot, 6,600. Man, I love that. You just talked me into maybe making an out. Hold on. What did I say his outright bet was? I got so many more bets to make here. Holy shit. What did I say was there? It's 180 to 1. That's worth $1. If I'm going to put $5 on top 20, I might as well throw $1 at him. What's the harm I could do? $180? Continuing down the list, well, yeah, you withdrew. I liked him for a second. Mark Hubbard, he got 2 clicks. Another guy's great tee to green player. I like some names down here at the bottom. Joseph Bramlett, great driver of the golf ball. Nate Lashley, 6,200. Third at the Puerto Rico last week, the side event. 20th at the Genesis, 61st at the Waste Management, 7th at the Sony Open. Another guy, really good approach player. Sometimes good, shaky with the putter, but sometimes really good. Nate Lashley's a really good play. I actually got him more than 2 clicks. A lot of these guys are 2 clicks. He's 4 clicks for me. You're going to balance out some guys at the top of your board. You got to play Rahm and Rory. Nate Lashley being only 7,200. You click somebody like him. And then you got 2 other names down here. I know, 120th in the model. I clicked on some of these names. 6,100, Kevin Tway. You like Justin Sue, Kyle? I like Kevin Tway. He's only missed 1 cut this calendar year. He's played in 3, 4, 7 events this calendar year. He's only missed 1 cut at the Pebble Beach Pro-Am. He's not lighting the world on fire, but he's a really good approach player, decent off the tee, and occasionally pops like at the Farmers where he hit 18th. Wasn't a weak field at the Farmers. Kevin Tway's a good golfer. Let's see here. He missed a cut here twice, and he's got a 46th place finish here. So, again, all you got to do is Kevin Tway just has to make the cut, and you pay off. Kramer Hickok, another one. He's a flat 6K. You can't get any cheaper than him. Finished 14th at the Honda, 29th at the Genesis. So he missed. This is hilarious. He's on my card, Hickok, for 3 lineups. 3 out of 40 lineups. 1, 2, 3. He missed 8 straight cuts. And all of a sudden, something clicked. And he went 29th and 14th in his last 2 events that he played. And guess what? He's made the cut here the last 2 years. Not just last year, the last 2 years. Kramer Hickok. There's a little sneaky little play right there as well. And that's the end of my card there. So I've got 6 outright bets right now. I'm going to throw the Sioux top 20, 5-1. I might throw a buck on him at 180-1, maybe. Justin Sioux reminds you of Kitayama. His win is coming as well. He won the Corn Ferry Tour Championship. Nothing to sneeze at. So he's got win. He's got the ability to win a tournament. Let's take that off the screen there. So my outright bets. I've got 6 outright bets right now. I'm probably going to – who did I talk myself into earlier? Hatton, was it? Will Zalatoris at 35-1. I'm going to add him to the card. I've got a few bucks left. I'm going to add Will Zalatoris to the card. I'm going to add Justin Sioux, 2 bets, a win and a top 20. But also already, like I said, I've got Patrick Cantlay. He's my all-in play. 15 out of 40 lineups, 20.5-1. I got a unit and a half there. Rest of my bets, I've got Cam Young, 35-1. Tony Finau, 28-1. Tom Kim, 40-1. Keith Mitchell, 55-1. And like I said, Wyndham Clark, 150-1. It was going to be my only long shot, but got convinced to add Justin Sioux as another long shot. Yeah, I think this week it's shaping up because the weather is not going to be as disastrous as the last couple years. To be a fun event again, there will always be carnage at this event, but the cream is going to rise to the top most likely. You're going to see a bunch of these big-name guys, the Rahms, the Rorys. Yeah. The fact that, Kyle, you didn't catch this morning's morning show, the Sixers were 2-point dogs this morning. And they still – I called it out in the morning show that was a bogus line. I didn't bet it. I never got around to betting it, but I knew that was a bogus line right there. You're going to see this week at the Players' Championship, you're going to see a lot of cream rising to the top. It doesn't mean Sioux or Wyndham Clark or someone like that can't win, but the leaderboard is going to be littered with top 10, top 20 guys. You're just going to see it. The course is just going to play tough. It's going to play fast, and the weather is not going to affect it like last week or last year. So that's great. But I am going to say one more time, I'm calling out. If you're watching and you follow Brian Kirshner or Pat Mayo, I'm calling them out. Patrick Cantlay is not missing the cut. Patrick Cantlay ain't going to come close to missing the cut. Patrick Cantlay will be your Players' Championship. And on a side note, if anybody heard Cam Smith, again, I'm going to say it again, Cam Smith saying that he might try to sneak on and watch even though he's a live guy and he's not allowed to play. And he was asked would he heckle the golfers, and he said no. But, man, could you just imagine you're in the gallery and there's the defending champ Cam Smith just perusing around because he's not allowed to play? I think it would be a riot. I think that would be great for season 2 of Live, or season 2 of Full Swing. And hopefully Joel Damon does well. If you haven't become a Joel Damon fan because of a Full Swing, I don't know, you don't have a heart. Let me see. Where's Joel Damon on this card here? 59th in my model, 6,800. I didn't play Joel Damon this week. Joel Damon's playing terrible this week, lately. 2 straight missed cuts, a 41st and a 50th before that. It's been since November since he's gotten inside the top 40 of an event. Poor Joel Damon. I love Joel Damon. Fantastic guy. And hilarious, too. I wish he had more confidence. Maybe if he had more confidence, he'd actually perform better. I don't know. But we're going to wrap up Fairway to Heaven right there. Players Champion, Brian, Mayo, Patrick Cantlay. Sorry, guys. He is the winner. He is going to win the Players, guys. So mark it down there. I'm back on the winning streak this week. Haven't hit an outright in a few weeks. Patrick Cantlay is the one that's going to hit. I'm going to cash a lot of lineups. I hope you do as well. Everybody, have a great night. Just a touch there as I play myself off here. Make sure you like, you subscribe, you turn the notifications on the DSM Media YouTube page. If you're following on any platform that you're watching the show on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, wherever it may be, turn notifications on. I'll post my full card, all my clicks, all my uses, all my additional bets on the Fairway to Heaven Twitter page at Fairway, _2, Heaven, on underscore. Never forget that. Everybody have a great night. Yeah, let's have a great Players Championship. I am Phil Stifle. See you tomorrow morning, trending in